Welcome back. My name is King Luke,
I'm Squire Nate.
and I've heard that some of you guys have been having trouble winning some games. So we're taking 10 red cards. I know you red players can't read, so we're going to read them for you. I had the Squire make a list, and we're going to talk about these 10 cards. What's number one?
First on our list, we got Bergie.
Bergalicious. I love Bergie. She is one of my favorite cards of all time.
The front side's going to help you to storm off by creating extra mana. The back side, you can play late game, be able to pitch cards to get extra card advantage.
She also lets you boast twice.
She does,
But
nobody remembers that.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Bergie does exactly what Red wants to do. You want to cast a lot of spells. We got so many cards that we could have put on this list. Stormkiln Artist creates extra treasures, helps you storm off as well. There's a couple other cards that help you do that as well, but I think Bergie does that the best at 3 mana. Plus, it gives you that card advantage on the other side if you absolutely need it.
In our second slot, it might be a little bit expensive both on the mana and the budget, but with Bergie helping us with the mana and being degenerate players helping us on the budget, we've got Ancient Copper Dragon coming in at
Ancient Copper Dragon coming in at, what, 65? I think it's at $85 now.
it's somewhere about
Super expensive card. But if you can get this on the battlefield and come in for a hit, you can get so many treasures as long as you don't roll under 5.
Yeah,
You know,
every time the Ancient Copper Dragon connects, you get to roll a d20 and then create a number of treasures equal to the result. Has tons of combo potential with stuff like Aggravated Assault, because you've got a 3 out of 4 chance that you'll always roll more than 5 treasures.
And it is so powerful. Getting haste in red is too easy. Everybody runs a Swiftfoot Boots. Everybody runs a Lightning Greaves. So getting haste is not, it's too easy. So we're going to get haste. We're coming in. We're going to swing in for the hit. All we need to do is get some trample sometimes so we can guarantee that damage.
And then, speaking of making more treasures, we've got Spot 3 is both a board wipe and more treasure ramp in Reckless Endeavor. You're going to roll 2d12s, take both results, make treasures equal to one result, and deal damage to each creature equal to the other, giving us a controlled board wipe and ramp at the same time.
Nice. And since it's controlled, we can say we roll really low, we roll a 1-on-1, we roll a 10 on another. We can deal 10 damage to everything if we want to really wipe the board and just make a treasure. Or we can deal 1 damage to everything, wipe everything of anything low value, and make 10 treasure tokens, which is usually what we'll go for.
It's an excellent board wipe when you're playing against small token builds because it wipes that board on that really low cost while letting you ramp, unless you get too high numbers, and then you get to deal with all the problems.
And then currently more and more colors are going for token builds because red has tokens when you cast creatures or cast non-creature spells. Black is coming out with vampire tokens like crazy, or demon tokens. White, we have human soldier tokens. Green is just a token generator itself. Blue has too many tokens to count. So, like, this card deals with so many cards, only costing 7 mana. It is pretty solid. When you pull it out late in the game, people don't know what to expect. You spend all your mana on a board wipe, plus you get some extra mana to do something later on in the turn.
Lets you have really explosive follow-up turns or rebuild on the same turn that you were able to board wipe.
Yes.
Next, we've got Kiki Jiki, we've got Kiki Jiki and Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. We put those together since they're kind of both halves of the same. They're both just going to give you a lot of recurring value with ETBs and dies triggers on the tokens they're going to make, and then have really high combo potential.
Kiki Jiki is super solid for late in the game. Fable the Mirrorbreaker comes out early every single game. It seems like every single deck I have it in, I pull it every single game on the opening hand, and it's hard for me to turn that down because the token generates treasures, which that's what we want to do in red. The second side helps us loot, so we can set up our graveyard and draw some extra cards. Set up our hand and graveyard. And then if we can get it to the other side, people want to use the removal on it first and foremost, so we can get that removal out of the way because we've already set up for something else. But if they don't take care of it, we get extra ETBs, making extra combat, or making extra tokens to do all kind of stuff.
And I can't talk about Kiki Jiki without talking about one of my favorite honorable mentions within Red, which is Imperial Recruiter. The Imperial Recruiter is so great because he comes in, he grabs the Kiki Jiki. You play the Kiki Jiki, you copy the Recruiter, and then every turn you can grab a power 2 or less creature to keep your utility moving forward.
There's so many because if we use Archon of Cruelty or any of the Archons that have the ETBs, we get super powerful ETBs. Any of the elementals like Subtlety, Solitude,
Oh yeah.
Fury, if we can copy those.
And those are all at instant speed now for no mana.
I really like to copy Rampant Rejuvenator, because he helps us search for basics every time he dies. And we sacrifice the tokens. They don't get exiled, so we get the sacrifice effect as well. Super solid cards. What do we got for the next number, Mr. Nate?
Next up, we've got...
I told you, look at
wheels. Sorry. Next up, we've got Wheel of Fortune and Wheel of Misfortune. Also include Magus the Wheel here, really just covering all our wheels.
Yes, because the Wheel of Fortune we know is so many players' budget because it is coming in at what, $300, $200 for a heavily played copy.
But with a little bit of politics and a little bit of cooperation, Wheel of Misfortune becomes a wheel of I can afford to fortune.
Yes, because this man does it better than anybody I've ever seen, is to politic your way into spending 2 mana, wheeling your whole hand for 1 life. It is amazing to do that because everybody who wants to wheel their hand, let's just pay 1 life. Everybody who doesn't
pays 0.
So we wheel our hands, and we only paid 2 mana for it, which is essentially what we want to do because Wheel of Fortune costs 3 mana. Magnets of the Wheel has Summoning Sickness when we pull it out.
Yeah,
so we have to use our mana as wisely as possible. And in red, if we get our bonuses from Bergie and Stormkiln Artist.
And also with the Magus of the Wheel, you are both paying to play the creature and you are paying for the activation.
Yeah.
So you do have the Summoning Sickness that slows you down, which really just makes the big difference in cost. But you can copy a Magus of the Wheel off of a Kiki Jiki, and you can grab a Magus of the Wheel off of Recruiter of the Guard.
That is super solid, super solid. You can copy Magus of the Wheels and wheel multiple times per turn too, which is also super solid because drawing equal to your discards or getting the discard advantage is super solid.
And then, so we're talking about making all these tokens. What's some ways to win with these? We've got Terror of the Peaks.
Okay.
Every time a creature enters, Terror's going to deal damage.
One of the strongest dragons of all time.
Also, he protects himself a little bit by making you deal damage to him. And then we got Warstorm Surge. A little more mana expensive, a lot less dollar expensive, a little less squishy because it doesn't have a body, but it makes the creature deal the damage itself, which allows you to do things like play a Blightsteel Colossus or anything with Infect and have them be the removal on entry.
Because they can remove an entire player. The Blightsteel enters, Warstorm Surge triggers, Blightsteel deals 11 damage to target player, it's Infect, they're out of the game.
Talking about Kiki again, if you play a Blightsteel with a Warnstorm and a Kiki, you kill one player, you tap the...
You make a copy,
kill the other player, and attack with the third player.
That is a dirty, degenerate, red player thing to do, and it's a good thing we've read these cards for you guys because we know these big words get kind of difficult to read, you know.
Colossus means real big.
When you flip something, it's like,
okay, I think they get our point now. Cavern Horde Dragon.
Oh, love this card. Cost less for each artifact. You can also hit players, and it costs 8 mana, which is a lot, but like I said, it costs less when your opponents control artifacts.
Never paying 8.
Never paying 8. It has haste, flying, and trample, so you can almost guarantee you get this trigger. Artifacts are becoming such a strong, every single set seems to come out with a new artifact strategy. Because we got the vehicles in the last one, we got Brothers War, which is nothing but artifacts. There's so many artifacts in every single set. And then this helps us.
Well, and then people forget map tokens, food tokens, blood tokens, treasure tokens, clue tokens. Those are all artifacts.
And it's too many sets have those exact themes, which is why I think they banned Dockside, because every set Dockside becomes that much stronger. Yeah. You know? Because if Dockside was still in the format, he'd be $200 because of how many new sets came out.
Yeah. Well, it also would have forced them to print more reactive cards like the Bloodroot Apothecary that was able to
punish people for treasures.
And I think that they were at a point where they had to decide if they wanted to punish people for playing a card that they are encouraging people to play, or if they wanted to remove that card from the game. Because sense. Being forced to punish people for playing creates a much more toxic environment.
But
so I think that the Dockside ban was good.
New ways to punish players, which the Cavern Horde Dragon makes treasures for equal to amount of artifacts that opponent controls, which is still pretty solid. You can get it out for 2 mana a lot of the time. Very strong dragon.
That's the other thing about the cost reduction being on artifacts, though, is that you don't actually want to play it unless it has a cost reduction.
Yes,
because you don't get a benefit off of playing
unless it has
a cost reduction.
Or if you can also there's a lot of red cards that give your opponents treasures with you. You know.
Yeah.
So we can give them something.
Or gold.
And yes, gold, and then we can give them something, and then make our own dude, and then get the benefit off it before they even get a chance. Next card,
we got Impact Tremors and Perforos, God of the Forge. Impact Tremors is cheaper both in dollars and mana value. Perforos is more effective and more stable. Also gives you a mana sink to be able to dump into pumping your team. Does everything you want to do with Indestructible on his booty.
Since there's plenty of ways to make so many tokens in red, we got Goblin tokens. You can combo with Dualcaster Mage, make 1 billion of him. We can make...
Yeah, but if you make 1 billion Dualcaster Mage, you never need the Impact Tremors.
I'm just saying, there's plenty of ways to make plenty of dudes, because we can go infinite with Kiki Jiki.
Oh, yeah.
And what's the guy's name? Imperial Recruiter?
Zealous Conscripts.
Zealous Conscripts makes an infinite number of Zealous Conscripts. And this just wins on the stack rather than having to go through another loop.
Zealous Conscripts and Combat Celebrant.
Okay.
That's the other one.
Perforos is better because he has Indestructible. And he can be played in the command zone, which makes his dollar value so much more expensive.
Mm-hmm. Also, once you get your devotion up with non-creature bodies, because the creature bodies are a little squishy, he's an indestructible blocker.
Yeah.
With a big old booty.
So he's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Awesome card. I love them. I haven't played them. I just fear them quite a bit.
Yeah. And then...
we got some honorable mentions.
Our last section before honorable mentions.
For honorable mentions first.
Are going to be honorable mentions first. It'll be Magda. We wanted to put her into the 10, but we just couldn't justify putting a card that must be in the command zone to have the level of impact that it needs. But Magda allows us to play a toolbox commander in red in a way that no other commander ever has and likely ever will.
Because we're playing a dual typal deck. We're playing dwarves as well as dragons, or
you're not playing dragons.
We can play artifacts. I mean, a lot of people do play dragons.
You have Ancient Copper, so you're playing Magda, so you can grab Ancient Copper Dragon and combo pieces.
Terror of the Peaks.
Yeah, combo pieces.
Yeah. We also got Deflecting Swat on there, because Deflecting Swat you can play for free, and it moves the target of spells, which can definitely win you some games.
People forget that things like Time Warp, target player takes an extra turn.
Yes.
It's not you, so you get to Deflecting Swat those back to yourself.
For a cheaper version of it, we got Will's Reversal. It also changes the target of a spell or spells.
Yeah, super solid.
And it costs way less, but it doesn't get casted for free, so you got to hold up the mana for it. Both super solid cards.
Fork also does the same thing.
Okay. I also really like Reverberate and Double Cast to copy target instant or sorcery we're casting. Both of those things are really good, along with Dualcaster Mage, which does the same thing.
And then our very last one, we had extra combats, because... we've got Mirag, we've got Combat Celebrant, we've got
Harlock, we got Aggravated Assault.
All of these guys are able to create just one more round of combat, and when we're making these big bodies that are giant and aggressive, usually one extra turn's all it's gonna take.
One extra turn unheated, because you just take an extra combat with these giant creatures. Or if we have Aggravated Assault and Ancient Copper Dragon, you're taking infinite turns. If you have Sword of Feast and Famine to untap all your lands, you're taking all the combat phases it takes to just come on through and take everybody out at the same exact time.
And we actually skipped number 5.
Okay.
Final Fortune and Last Chance, much like the extra combat phases, are just take an extra turn and then lose at the end of that turn.
We are most of the time not losing, because if like I said, all it takes is one extra turn unheated, and you can win the game. there's not many options to take extra turns in other colors besides blue.
No, none. No,
You can do it with one artifact. That's it. And then we can do it in red, and this is the way to do it.
You also get access to the Sundial of the Infinite, which allows you to end the turn. So you either are going to win on that extra turn, or you're going to end the turn on the extra turn so that you on the would be losing extra turn,
so
that you don't lose the game.
Just disappears from the stack, and you do not lose the game. So then we can chain the extra turn sometimes if we can recur that.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, if you guys want to win more games, these are some cards you guys should definitely play. All of them super solid. Some of them are in budget. Some of them quite aren't. Thank you for joining us. My name's King Luke.
I'm Squire Nate.
See y'all next time.
Win more games.
This is actually blank, y'all. There's nothing.